Hello, today we're going to talk about global file storage. And in a previous video, I was showing you how to use the local file system where you upload files directly to an automation and then use those files in the context of your automation. This video is not about this. It's not about the local file system. This is about the global file system where you can upload a file and then use it across your automations. So let's say that I have, here's some files I have, and I want to make this email template available across multiple automations. So if I go here, I'm just going to show you what this template looks like. And just this email template that I used in a previous tutorial. So let's say I want to use this across multiple automations. Well, this is a good time to use the global file system. So I'm going to select upload. Okay, so I'm going to pick this file, I'm going to upload it, and now I have it in my global file storage. So if I click it, I should be able to see a preview of the file that I uploaded, along with some tips around how to use this file in my prompts. So I can append to this file, I can replace this file, and I can retrieve the contents of the file. That's what I want to do. I want to retrieve the contents of this file. So I'm just going to copy this prompt. And now I'm going to create an automation that retrieves that file as part of the first step. So I'm going to select file storage skill. I'm going to do that first. And then I'm going to paste in that prompt, retrieve contents of file, report email from file storage. Okay, so I'm going to run this. And hopefully we'll get a script now that pulls that out of global storage and makes it available to us. So let's see if that works. Let's run it and see what happens. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of data back. And then this is all the data that is part and parcel to every file that's uploaded. Then what we really want is the content that's here, right? So that's the HTML, and so that's good. So this is the main deal right there. And all this other metadata is telling us about kind of other other metadata about that file. So signed URL may be interesting. This is a link, a temporary link, depending on how long I've set the file expiry, that I can click to access that file. So, but I can just use the content directly too. So if in a subsequent step, if I want to use that HTML file as part of an email template, and I have another tutorial about doing that, that content is right here as part of step one, and I've retrieved it and can use it. So that's one way that you can use the file storage system by uploading the data directly here. But you can also create files as part of your automations and then retrieve them either as part of that same automation or in another automation. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And here, now I'm going to create a new automation. And what I often do for file storage, since it is a complex feature, is I'll click the little help down here and I'll open up our documentation. And I'll go into slash commands and I'll look for the item that I care about. So this documentation has a lot of good details around how to use the file storage system. And here I have a real world example for how we can create a new file. So I think I'm just going to copy this and use it as an example here. So what we want to do now is create I'm going to replace that with the actual slash command. File storage. Okay, file storage, create a new file with file name equal to this. The content is here and some metadata that I want to add, and I'm going to set the expiry. So I can set this between 1 and 7 days, or I can set it to never, which means that it never expires. Like the link will always be valid. So I'm going to set it to never because I want this to be available for all time. To anyone. So I might share this link with someone else and have them use it. So I'm going to submit that prompt. Now, it doesn't have to be exact like this. You might be worrying about, getting the format correct. I could have written anything for content. It doesn't have to be a JSON object. It could just be, I could just write hello world there. I don't need any metadata. I don't need to set the file expiry. So you could really just say, here's my file name. And here's the content I want to put in that file. And that's really all you have to do to create a file with file storage. So you can see then it created that file successfully, and this is now the link to the file. So if I click this, I should see that content. There it is. So that's the content of the file. Now, if I want to read this in later, so this is intended to be an email template where I read in a subject line and I read in the body, which is in HTML. So this is now accessible to me. So if I create a, well, actually, let me show it to you. I'll go to file storage here. So it should show up at the top, welcome email template. This is what we just wrote. So I can now see that file. And again, I get those tips around how to use it in an automation. So if I want to use that in a subsequent automation, I can just do retrieve contents of the file from file storage, and it'll pull it down the same way we just saw. So there are a lot of other features for the file system, like you can append to the file. Let me move down to this real world examples. So creating, you can update a file once you've written to it by appending to it. You can also replace the file. So if you write a new file with the same file name, it'll replace the file that's currently there. So if you want to just continuously replace a file, that's how you do it. If you want to append to it, you can use this append command in your slash command. And of course, lots of different ways to read files or list out the files that you have available. Sometimes you just want to give a list or search through a list. You might first list the files and then look for the file that you're interested in, if you have a lot of files with similar names. And of course, you can delete the files. You can also manage the files here in the UI. So that's the file system. It's pretty multifaceted. Oh, there is one warning in working with the file system. I have that here at the top of the documentation. There's no race condition handling. And what that means is if you have two automations writing to the same file name at the same time or trying to append to the same file at the same time, something weird could happen. So, we don't know. There could be a race condition that either one gets written or the other one gets written or they overwrite each other. So this file system is not intended to have file locking and kind of all that complicated stuff. So just be aware of that when you're creating your automations. But that's it. Have fun, and it can be really useful to have these files globally available across your automations. So enjoy. See ya.